Have you ever had something to say, really important, and you felt that hesitation and went silent? Have you ever stumbled through a conversation only later to think, that's what I should have said? And do you ever feel like there are times where your message gets completely lost in translation? Well, my friend, you are not alone. And get ready to level up your communication. I'm Kathy Riley, your host and communication expert with over 25 years in litigation and another 15 as an entrepreneur. Our goal here is to share tools and systems to help you up level the way you connect with others. From mastering the art of tough conversations to cultivating a mindset that screams confidence, you'll learn how to break those bad habits and shatter communication barriers. So, welcome today, my friends. Today, we're going to talk about avoiding conflicts. How do you avoid the drama, right? With humans, right, and with people that we work with our family members. I think we can all agree humans are complicated. Am I right? Humans are complicated. Add to that communication in and of itself is complicated. If you think about it, communication is only 7% words. Words do matter, but it's not just what we say, it's how we say it and our tonality and our body language and our breath and our eyes and how we look and whether we blink and all of that, the energy that comes from us, all of that plays into how we communicate, which makes it super complex. We're assuming things that are going on. We're having conversations in our head that aren't really happening because we're paying attention to all of these things. It's complicated. So how do we bridge the gap and how do we avoid the drama? Right? So we're going to talk a couple ways on how to do this and kind of open up your mind about how communication happens and actually how we think. How we think. So I want to share a quick story with you, and you may be someone who has a similar experience in your past, or maybe yesterday. So way back when my husband and I were first newly married, we planned to go to dinner or go out with friends or whatever. It was a date night, whatever it was. And I'd always say, okay, what time do we need to leave? And that's always helpful in getting ready and getting me out the door. I'm not quite a girly girl, but I've got a lot of hair. I put on my makeup. I do all that. And I like to look nice. When I look nice, I feel nice. When I feel nice, I feel more confident. So I've got my routines. And in doing that, okay, give me the time that we need to be out the door, right? So I'm gauging that. Well, so there was one time I remember this was one of our big ahas with my husband and I. I call him Prince Charming, by the way. We are getting ready to go to a party, and there's a gift involved and all this good stuff. So I'm getting ready out of the shower. He comes in and, he jumps in the shower and gets out of the shower, and I'm still putzing around with drying my hair and all this good stuff. So he goes downstairs and comes back upstairs, and he's like, "Hey, have you fed the dog yet?" And I'm like, "No, kind of been up here. No. Okay." So then he leaves and I continue getting ready and all this good stuff. It takes a long time for my hair, I got to tell you, friends. And he comes back up and he's like, "Hey, we have a gift for them, don't we?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh. Did you get a card?" "Uh-huh." So we're having this conversation about that. I tell him where it is. And, continue getting ready and all this. And he comes up and he's starting asking more questions. And I'm like, "Dude, do you realize that the more you keep asking me questions, the later I'm going to be? Just please let me just get through my tasks so I can stop doing, talking to you and focus on what I'm doing because I'll get to that." And so I'm assuming, okay, based on my past, which I was married to somebody who I call idiot. Okay, we were together 11 years, married 4. Idiot is the best way to describe him. Best way to describe him and our relationship, quite honestly. And he would always be nagging me, like, "Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? How much longer? How much longer? How much longer?" Because to him, he always wanted to be early. He'd tell me when we needed to leave, but then, pretty much he wanted to be out the door 30 minutes before that. And it was never fun getting out the door with him. So when Prince Charming kept doing this, I was like, "Dude, what's going on? I'm like, you're killing me here, Smalls. I'm like, but I'm getting really frustrated. Will you stop? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm just trying to help. I know you have your process, and I'd like to help. Whatever I can do to help us get out the door. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, damn, that just changed the dynamics of the conversation. So knowing that, then every time moving forward, our conversation and getting me out the door, or whether it was a gift or whatever was going on, it was a lot different because now I knew that he wasn't trying to push me out the door. He's trying to help. So my assumptions of what he was doing were completely wrong. And just by then calling him out on it and asking questions, I was able to clarify what was really going on, knowing that I was bringing my baggage to the situation and he just wanted to help. So that was a bit of an aha for me. So, how many times have you been in an argument and you just don't see the other side because you don't understand where they're coming from? And you think one thing, but the reality is they're thinking something else. So, we assume a lot that we shouldn't. And we use our past to predict what's going on in our present day and our future. And starting to pay attention to that and asking questions. Questions are one of the most powerful tools. I'm telling you, my friends, questions are so powerful. Gaining clarity on any given situation will help you get to the other side. It's also going to help you be at peace, right? To avoid conflicts. Because if there isn't a conflict there, why are we making there one to be? Right? We need to stop stirring the pot. But we're bringing our past to the situation. So, in understanding that and knowing that 90% of who you are right now, the decisions you make is coming from your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind. It's a great, glorious computer running in our back. And our unconscious mind, its number one job is to protect us. So if we feel a conflict coming on, we're going to try to avoid it at all costs. But if there really wasn't a conflict to happen, we're stirring the pot. We're creating a problem where there wasn't one simply because we misunderstood the conversation. So knowing 90% is from our past, 90% is in our unconscious. We are bringing up that, what I call that itty bitty shitty committee, our past into our current present situation. So we need to pause. Knowing that, we can pay attention. We can pay attention to the emotions that are stirring up. We can sit there and go, okay, this is going down a path. I can feel it emotionally. We feel it. You know when you feel it. And you can pause. You can pause. There's a power in pause, power in paying attention. So pay attention to where the conversation is going and then start asking questions. Gain clarity is what is really, really going on. Now, here's the other thing I want to talk about. Understanding that the way our brain works. We're two kinds of thinkers in the world. We have literal thinkers and abstract thinkers. So I challenge you, which one are you? So they focus on concrete, factual, and straightforward ideas. They interrupt information they interpret information exactly as it is presented, often without reading between the lines or considering metaphorical or symbolic meanings, right? It is what it is. 1 + 1 is 2, end of story. Now, on the opposite side, abstract thinkers go beyond the surface, focusing on concepts, ideas, connections that aren't immediately obvious. They thrive on the hypothetical, theoretical, symbolic reasoning, and are comfortable with ambiguity and deeper meanings. Well, my friends, I'm a literal and my husband is an abstract. So we make an amazing match. Which means a lot of our conversations need to be having a pause and questions for clarity. As an abstract thinker, I get exceptionally frustrated with his hypotheticals, with him talking in big pictures and I don't understand. For instance, he will say things like, hey, you know what you should do? You should walk the dog. And I'd think, I can't walk the dog right now. I have this to do and this to do and this to do. Like I've got 3 appointments coming up. What are you talking about? How could you possibly, what do you want to put something else on my plate? Now what he was saying is you know what? You could use a break. Why don't you go outside, enjoy it? You love your dog, she's your baby. Go out, have some fun, take a break for 15 minutes. That's what he was saying. But that's not what I heard. I heard, go take your dog for a walk. Do you see? How often are you having conversations like that? How often? It happens in the workplace more often than not and is a direct correlation to the conflicts that happen. Because people do not pause, ask questions to get on the same page to gain that clarity. So powerful, my friends. So powerful. Knowing the way our brain works. So there are two. We also have personality types. Okay, we're going to make it even more complex as humans. We have personality types, right? We have people who like to be the cheerleaders and the nurturers. We have people who are the go-getters and the entertainers, right? We have all of these different personality types, and then we have people who process information differently. Some are visual, right? They need to see it. Some are kinesthetic. They want to write it. They want to do it. They want to feel it. You put that all together, man. As humans, the way we think and process information and communicate, it's so complex. That's why I love it. I got to tell you, I love it. I'm a nerd. I love learning about this stuff. So how can you use this information? You use this information right now to avoid conflicts in the future, to avoid the drama, to talk without tension, right? And that's going forward with some presumptions. Presuppositions is what we call it in neurolinguistics. There's some presuppositions that are paramount to moving forward with grace, with leadership, with finesse, with empowerment. And what presupposition is, it's different than assumptions. Assumptions, you don't necessarily, when you have a situation, you're assuming those aren't facts in question, right? Things are ambiguous. You don't know for certain. You're making assumptions. You're filling in the blanks, right? And that doesn't always work because you know what they say about assuming, right? It makes an ass out of you and me. But presuppositions is understanding the facts in play and taking the emotions out of it. So a presupposition, for instance, let me give you an example. If I were to give you a statement, what is the presupposition? Let's use the statement, Jackie loves her mom. And I say that because Jackie's my daughter and I'm her mom. But okay, take the statement as it stands. Jackie loves her mom. What can we presuppose? We can presuppose one, Jackie has a mom. Okay? Jackie has a mom. That's absolutely 100% true. Jackie has a mom. We can also presuppose that Jackie knows how to love. We can presuppose that Jackie has feelings. We can presuppose that Jackie is a woman because it's her mom. So when you look at and you hear words, pausing to understand and comprehend and presuppose the facts. What is the reality of this situation? And then there's a couple presuppositions that I believe, I'm just going to give you 3, that I really think are foundational at avoiding conflicts, at living, quite honestly, a happier life. Because when you can communicate more effectively, you truly lead a happier life. I'm telling you. Avoid the drama. Listen to mama here, my friends. Okay. Presuppositions. So understanding. So I'm going to give them to, I'm going to lay them out right here. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? This is so good. So presuppose that people are not their behavior. Think about that. People are not their behavior. We all have good moments and bad moments, right? That doesn't define us. Have you ever lost your shit? Right? Have you ever done something bad? That doesn't define you. That's not who you are. So when you see other people and their behaviors and you're like, oh, pause for a moment and understand that that individual behavior is not the defining moment of that individual. Which I mean by that, I said that poorly, so let me say it again. That individual behavior is not the defining personality of that individual. It is not who they are as a human. It's not. It's only one moment in time. And remember, we're complex individuals. So something so small as one behavior doesn't define them, right? So people are not their behaviors. Okay, number 2, understanding this and presupposing this when it comes to the human race. Everyone, everyone is doing the best they can with the information and resources they have. They have. Now, there may be a few idiots out there, all right, but for the most part, I truly believe, and this is a solid presupposition to really, really navigate life, is to understand that everyone is doing the best they can with the information and resources they have at this time. When they know better, they do better. They truly do. So a story on this one. I lost my mom in 2017, and I was going through some major health issues myself. It was my second round of nearly losing my life. And I got to tell you, I was really mad at my mom. I didn't think I'd get emotional on this, but I was really, really mad at my mom for not teaching me how to be a better advocate for myself. Because I truly believe she did not advocate for herself, which is why she lost her life. Liver and kidney failure. So that's a whole other story. She didn't self-advocate. She didn't teach me how to self-advocate. I was really mad at her. Really mad at her for a while. And then it dawned on me as I embraced this presupposition. I had to be reminded of it. She was doing the best she could with the information and resources she had. She learned from her mother and her grandmother and her grandmother's grandmother. Women were to be seen and not heard. Our job was to take care of everybody else, right? And whatever that meant for us, I mean, she'd tell me, don't stir the pot, right? Don't cause a mess. Don't cause a fuss. Stay quiet. Sit down and be quiet. She would tell me, oh, sit down and be quiet. Always telling me to hush. Well, that's how she was raised. She did the best she could with the information and resources she had. It was very liberating when I finally connected the dots on this and realized she did her best. There was no ill will. She didn't mean to mess me up on that level. She didn't. She had no intention whatsoever. She was just doing what she was taught. She didn't know how to do better. Now that I know better, I do better, which is why I'm so passionate about communication and self-advocacy and helping others do the same, because I know better. So knowing that she did, it was liberating to let go of that. So when you're in a conflict, right, or you're leading to a conflict, understanding that the person on the other side of that table or the people on the other side of that table, they're doing the best they can with the information and resources they have. They just don't know. So by asking questions and creating conversation, you can gain clarity on what is truly meant and maybe partake some of your wisdom as to how to navigate whatever conflict is coming up. Because if you know better, then why not share it? Okay, so that was number 2. Number 3, is you are in charge of your mind. There's very little things, very few things, quite honestly, that you control. You can't control the weather. You can't control what other people do. I tell my daughter often, she's 19 now, but all that through her world, you're not the boss of their body. You're the boss of whose body? Your own. You're the boss of your body. I'm the boss of my body. You can't tell me what to do, and I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you how to think either. That's your job. So you are in charge of your mind, how you think, how you talk to yourself. Whether you feel empowered or not, that's up to you. It's a choice. Whether you feel confident or not, whether you have the courage or not, that's totally up to you. That's totally up to you. So if you know that you can take that and own that, that is your power. That is your superpower. Is you are in charge of your mind. Your mind will help you navigate so much if you pay attention and you shift the negative to the positive. Here's what I will say when it comes to your mind. If the words that you are saying to yourself in here, and I'm pointing to my head, my noodle, the words that you are saying to yourself, if you cannot say them out loud to a child or to your grandmother, you have no business saying them to yourself. Okay, just stop it. Stop it. Shift the negative to the positive. You're in complete control of that. You sit there, I can't do this, I can't do this. Yeah, I can. I can do this. I got this. I got this. So understanding, okay, knowing that individuals think two different ways, right? We're either literal or abstract, right? So there's two different ways of the way we think and process information, okay? Then incorporating these presuppositions that people are not their behavior, everyone is doing their best, and you're in charge of your mind, okay? Incorporating those. Now, when you walk into a conversation, good, bad, or indifferent, you have the power to pause, feel the feels, right? If it's going down, you're a literal thinker, you're an abstract thinker, you may be on the other side of somebody who thinks differently than you. Okay, knowing that we think differently, you can pause, right? Feel your feels and start asking questions to really understand. I'm curious, where did that come? I'm curious, why do you ask? I'm curious, how is this an issue? I'm curious, what's going on right now? I see a change. I feel a change, right? I feel like we're not on the same page. What's going on? How can we get on the same page here? What information can I give you to help you understand? Right? You see a different path. Well, what's one thing we can do to continue on this path? What's one thing we can do to get on the same page? Right? And can you, okay, we've had this conversation. We've been going around and around for the last 30 minutes. We're not going to agree to disagree, okay, on this. Or can we agree to disagree? And can you get on board with this decision? Yeah, it may not be your best choice. The team has decided to do this. Can we all get on board and move forward with this path? Can we do that? What's it going to take for you to get on the same page as us? Great questions. Ask that. When you ask questions, you are empowering yourself and others to gain not just knowledge, but wisdom. Knowledge is on the internet. Wisdom comes from within an experience. So you move past just the simple data, just the simple issue, and really, really communicate with the person on the other side of that conversation. Best way I can tell you right now. Very, very simple. There's so much more. We can spend hours, and I will continue to talk on this topic because I think it is so, so powerful. But partaking this, just sharing this with you right now just process it, take it in, pay attention. Again, literal abstract thinker. So we think differently, right? Knowing that everything is running, 90% of who we are is running in our unconscious mind. So things our past is totally bringing forward, asking questions and incorporating these presuppositions. People are doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can with the information they have, which is why sharing information is so important. So thank you, my friends. Hopefully you found value there. That's a wrap for today's episode of Breaking Bad Communication. I'm so fired up because this is such good stuff. Thank you for being here and tuning in. But before we sign off, don't forget to subscribe. And if you heard something that resonates with you today, or you know somebody that could use this message, please share it with them, post it, tag them. Know this, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication. As you head back out into the world, remember, every conversation is your chance to shape your life and the lives of others. Whether it's a tough talk or casual chat, be clear, be intentional, and listen like it matters. The better you communicate, the more your life aligns with what you truly want. So get out there, own your voice, embrace your words. Giddy up.